Hello, and welcome to the 40th episode of the Power Pod.
That's it.
With the two baddest podcast hosts, True Teller Mark and Vibe Checker Owen.
Oh, yeah. I love those titles. It makes so much sense.
Damn,
yeah. How you been getting on the past week?
I'm getting on good.
You doing well?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing a bit of shopping.
Oh, really? For what? Christmas?
Nah, just in general, you know.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, the shop's opened up.
Telling you.
They're back. You know, summer is here, basically. And hopefully the weather improves. You know.
Well, it's been cracking.
Well, it's been alright. Yeah.
On Saturday, it was lashing rain, man.
Yeah.
I got caught in that. I was soaked.
Yeah. There's been a few days that are just grim. But you see the way the weather app says it's going to be lashing rain all day, every single day.
Yep.
But it doesn't do that.
Doesn't, yeah.
It hasn't. It's been good a lot of the time. It's clearly like one of those things where the government are trying to get people to stay indoors because they clearly knew there's going to be good weather this weekend because they closed off Portobello.
Yeah.
So that's
it's a bit of fact there, Mark. Maybe
it's sort of getting too bit close to the truth. But yeah, things are a bit weird around here right now. So yeah, I can't wait to get in, do a bit of shopping, get back to normal, have a few pints.
Stop! I can't wait for
socially distanced in a wet pub.
No, I can't wait for pints. I can't wait for that. Just to fucking go out and a bit of normality, Mark. Back to normal a bit.
True.
I was walking down because I was in town during the weekend, and I was walking down Grafton Street, and it was pissing. It was still like pissing rain, kind of. But like there was just some fella making noise, or whatever, and I didn't have any earphones in, and so I was like, "What the fuck is that noise?" And then some fella that was like walking down, and like he was like looking at people and being like, "Who let the sheep out?" and like, "Get the mask. What are you wearing a mask for?" and stuff like that. And I was just walking by, and I was just like, "Are you not over this yet?
Yeah,
we've been at this a year. Like, come on.
Get a new thing to get angry about.
Get a new fucking hobby.
Yeah.
Like, Palestine is happening, bro. Like,
yeah,
just
do
jump onto
something else.
that.
There's loads of conspiracies there. You could take advantage of that. Go crazy about that. Like anyone who's still into the mask thing at this stage.
Oh, come on. Like,
you're just like, it's not even a point of like, oh, you're wrong or whatever. It's like you're uncool. It's like someone talking about, fucking the Illuminati or something. Like, that was funny in 2012 or whatever. Get with the times. There are cooler conspiracies out there now. It's 2021, bro.
Like, I was just like, what are you doing? And like, the funniest thing as well was that like, he shouted at someone like, why are you wearing a mask or whatever? Like, so I don't know if he said it directly to him. He said it like to the group of people that he was with. But then I walked past him, and there's this like big group of like pretty buff dudes walking, and they had like their masks on their chin, kind of.
Yeah.
And he didn't say anything to them until he got past them, and then he just said, "Who let the sheep out?" And it's like something like vague like that. That if someone heard, they'd be like, "What the fuck is he talking about?"
Yeah.
But like, only because I knew the shit beforehand did I know what he was talking about. I was like, "You're a fucking loser. Like, you're a pussy as well."
Was he on his own?
He was with a bunch of girls or something.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I only saw him like standing beside two girls when he was talking, whatever, and they were laughing. But like there was more people to the left of them, so I don't know how big of the group he was walking with. But I was just like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. Was this one of these teenagers who control town now?
No. This man was like in his 40s.
What? Oh my god. Sounds like a bit of a G.
Some fucking baller just walking around.
Yeah,
he was the truth teller.
Yeah. He brings us the truth.
He was the Illuminati.
Yeah, we shrink away from him because we know he tells the truth.
But yeah, not a vibe, you know.
Yeah, fuck that.
I watched the this is gonna be way like outdated by the time this episode comes out. But I watched the Elon Musk like a Wario skit.
Oh yeah, SNL. Yeah.
Fucking hell,
that
man.
was like last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, we didn't even talk about it last week. But fucking hell, man, that thing was painful. I didn't know how bad it was until I watched the Wario one. I was like, Jesus.
That's the one with Grimes in it, isn't she?
Oh yeah,
that's Princess Peach. Yeah.
Like, it's actually like art and how fucking unfunny it is.
Yeah, I refuse to watch those clips, but I watched the one with what was it? It's like a doctor, a Zoomer doctor who speaks in like, Zoomer speak or whatever that is. He's like no cap and all this stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, you gotta, the vibes, stuff like that. But it's Elon Musk. But just in general, like the guy has no comedic timing whatsoever. He just said things.
He's so awkward.
Completely out of sync with everyone else.
Yeah.
And SNL isn't funny anyway, really.
SNL is like that anyway.
Yeah, it's just not funny. And like he's in there as a
the
gimmick.
actual people on SNL aren't much better than Elon Musk.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's the problem. But yeah, it's like I think I saw one as well with the where it's Pete Davidson. I think goes to Mars. And,
Pete Davidson's at the end of the one that I saw, and I was like, "Oh, Pete, what are you doing?
Yeah,
this is shit. This is bad."
Because he is pretty funny.
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, sure.
he's alright from what I've seen. I've seen a few talk show clips. That's about it.
All I know is that he's the guy that Big Dick Energy came from.
Yeah. That's put that on the CV. And
yeah, write that down.
Any job. Write that down. No, but it was like a skit where Pete Davidson went to Mars, and he was a guy called Chad, and he was just like an idiot. And Elon Musk was the Mars colonists back at base, like sort of directing him around and stuff like that. And he directed Pete Davidson's character to like sacrifice himself for the Earth, which is kind of like bad optics because he's telling this man is clearly like mentally deficient to basically kill himself in front of the world in the name of the greater good, while this billionaire, loser back home just sort of takes all the credit.
But that is also like
that's what he does.
That's what he's doing in real life. Though he's just like, here, I want to send people off to Mars. Don't know, you might never come back. How about but we want to see if it will work.
Yeah,
that's like, basically what he wants to do.
Yeah, like why don't you go to Mars? You know? Like that'd be great. That would be hilarious.
The people will be guinea pigs and we'll fight for it.
Yeah, if Elon Musk actually went to Mars, I would respect him so much. I would completely reverse my opinion of him. That would be a great experiment.
But in the Wario thing as well, it's just bad optics as well. Because he's playing Wario, this like greedy, greasy, slimy little man, and like the whole thing the whole thing turns into like this like Italian discrimination, like like a public broadcast service thing.
About Italian discrimination?
Because the whole thing is like, I'm a Wario and these are being a racist to me.
Is it?
That's basically that's what it is. And it's like, it's just bad. Like, it's just really bad. But like, there's a bit where like Elon Musk as Wario is like, hey, I'm not such a bad guy and stuff like that. And it's like, Elon, this is weird because like people think that you're like, people know that you're evil,
yeah, people, you're the bad guy. Why are you making fun of it? Why are you acknowledging it on TV?
And it's like people can be so mean online. Like I'm actually doing a better Italian accent than he's doing, and I'm doing a horrendous accent.
Yeah.
And Wario isn't even Italian.
Yeah, what is he?
Wario's like fucking German or something.
Is he?
Yeah,
that's why he's evil. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, how's Grimes in it? She's Princess Peach, isn't she?
Yeah, she's Princess Peach.
How did she come into it? What's her role?
Peach is fucking Luigi.
Bad out.
And Grimes, who has like probably worse acting than Elon Musk, but just saying something.
Yeah,
she's
God.
No, not me, Peach. And it's like, oh
my God.
Oh, pain.
She was hospitalized after that, wasn't she, as well?
Was she?
Yeah, she had like some sort of seizure or something.
Didn't know about that.
I read that. I only read the articles around it. I was like, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to give in to the hype. But
SNL's bad.
SNL is just bad in general, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen a funny SNL clip, ever.
No.
Like people say, there's different generations in the past. I've never seen a funny one, ever.
And I agree with you, man. Like, I just don't want to watch any SNL because I'm just like, it's just not funny. It's just not.
It's one of those American things. Like, the way they have the talk show host get up at the start and tell absolutely terrible jokes that would bomb in any pub in the world.
But the people love it.
And everyone laughs. I'm like, oh, this is great, he's so funny. He's so relatable.
What's that guy with the chin?
Jay Leno.
Yeah, Jay fucking Leno, man. Oh.
Yeah. It's like, what's that about? Or like Jimmy
Conan
Kimmel does
O'Brien and shit like that.
I like Conan O'Brien. I think he's funny.
Yeah, but man, sit down.
Yeah, sit down. Yeah, you don't it's not stand up. Just sit down, talk to the interviewee or whatever, But yeah,
shocking stuff. But not. I will admit, not as bad as the witch trials. I have to say, witch trials a worse time.
Yeah, they were pretty bad back in the day.
Yeah,
I don't remember them now, but yeah, sure. Yeah, you watched Witchfinder General, wasn't it?
I did indeed.
Yeah,
completing the trifecta of the folk horror.
The folk horror trifecta has been completed. Yeah, Michael Reeves, 1968.
He died after this as well.
Yeah, he was 24 when he wrote and directed this, and then he died a year later because he took like loads of heroin.
Yeah, fucked.
Yeah,
really sad.
But he did a really good job in this film because it's a good film.
It's really fucked up.
It is, yeah.
It's quite disturbing. I wasn't expecting this to be the most disturbing out of the. I think this is the most like.
Out of Wicker Man and Penda's Fan, really?
No, Wicker Man and
Blood and Saints Claw. Yeah.
I think this is by far the most fucked up one.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty bad because it starts with a hanging.
And it's a really brutal hanging.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be worse because they wrote Reeves wrote the script with some other guy, and back in those days you had to send any script before production. You had to send it off to the censor, and the censor would look through it and like find like things that hadn't been filmed and find scenes that were like sort of questionable that might lead to something that wouldn't make the cut. And they had loads of shit that had to be cut out like in the drafts before they even started filming. Like in the opening scene, they would have had like more. The hanging was actually going to be more graphic. Like they would have had twitching and stuff, and like her face going purple and stuff.
Jesus.
And they had other stuff like the end scene where he meets his fate was going to be like way more like prolonged and like more torturous or whatever. More in keeping with like because there's a legend of how he actually died, which isn't actually true, but like the legend is pretty gruesome. Just like basically he meets. It's like an ironic end. Like what happens to him is what he did to the women and stuff like that. But in the end, he just sort of gets an axe to the.
He just gets butchered with an axe for a while.
Yeah, because he was a real guy. You know, Matthew Hopkins.
That's the most fucked up thing about it.
He was real. He was a real guy, and that's what's so interesting about the film because it's very much it's grounded in historical fact.
It's like a Tarantino film though because it reimagines how he dies.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because he died a very peaceful death.
Yeah, he did. He died he died of TB.
Oh yeah.
So
well, it could have been worse. English Civil War, you know, and he's gone around and killed 160 people. It could have been a lot worse for that guy.
Yeah, for what was it? Something like 500 women died. 500 people, I think, died in the witch trials era, and I think him and his mate were like responsible for it's either 20% or 40%.
Yeah, it's 20% something like that. Because he was active during the old Civil War, so there's chaos all around, and he's walking around, and he's going to village, and the villagers don't know what's happening, like who's in control, like who's giving orders, and he's claiming that he's the Witchfinder General, which was never a real position. He just made this up basically, but like through sort of just saying this thing. It's almost like casting a spell, like just saying that he had authority. Yeah. People believe that he did and believe that this was a real thing and that witches were a threat. So they all sort of went along with his whole charade, you know. And he was only active for something like 14 months, but in that space of time, he provoked more executions of women, of alleged witches, than had been killed in the entire 160 years prior. Which is pretty incredible, you know.
It's brutal as well. It's brutal.
Yeah, he wrote the book. He literally wrote the book on witch hunting as well. The Discovery of Witches, which was imported over to the colonies in America, like in the 1640s or something like that. And then they had a period of witch hunting which lasted all the way up to the end of the century, which sort of culminated in the Salem witch trials. Like, this guy was very influential, even though he was just a random guy, complete con man. Who went
evil.
Around, complete evil con man, just went around preying on people for no reason, really.
Sounds like a capitalist.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Yeah, literally at the dawn of capitalism, and like that's the setting of the film, isn't it?
Yeah,
because it starts out with the soldier. The main character is a soldier.
Yeah, he's Cromwellian.
Yeah, he's in the
Cromwell's in the film as well.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, it's the new model army, which is the first ever professional army in like modern or like in Europe, and it takes place at the start at the Battle of Naseby, which is where Cromwell like basically crushed the royalist forces. So it's all about capitalism kind of coming to the fore, and like the future exploding into the present, and like no one has any idea what's going on. Yeah. Basically, you have goblins like fucking Matthew Hopkins walking around just taking advantage of that and exploiting those kinds of things, exploiting superstition, using the authority of the state, like the new authority of the state, to sort of get his own way, his own sort of opportunist way. But yeah, it's a crazy story. It's a fucked up story.
It's fucking brutal in the film. Like the film, for as much as they cut out, it's still like a really fucked up brutal film. And like that, like the woman in it, like when she like is like to fucking the Witchfinder, what's his name? Hopkins.
Matthew Hopkins, yeah.
When she's like to him, like, I'll have sex with you if you don't kill like my uncle, and he's like, yeah, sure. And then he fucks off, and his mate comes in and rapes her, and then Matthew Hopkins comes back and he's like, all right, now we're gonna kill your uncle now. Yeah,
it's like that wasn't part of the deal, Hopkins.
No,
that wasn't
awful.
Part of the deal.
Awful.
But that was the thing, that's how they operated back then. Like it was just brutal. Like, they're gonna have a beheading scene as well at the. As part of the film, like
they burn that witch is not fun either.
Yeah, Yeah,
Oof.
and like there's like a dunking scene and stuff where they stick her in the river,
Mm-hmm.
which they sort of like they don't. It's not too bad, but it's fucked up.
He's such a, but like he like who's the fellow that plays Hopkins?
Vincent Price, yeah,
Vincent Price, fucking amazing performance. Honestly,
yeah,
he's so like there's he like every time that he's on screen, there's like a tension or like a sense of like evil.
yeah, very foreboding.
Yes, that's the right
Yeah.
word. Foreboding. And like, he just captures the entire scene, whichever one he's in, and he's like easily one of those scariest villains at anything, but at the same time, completely fucking pathetic.
Yeah, that's the thing. At the end, he sort of like they pull back the curtain. It's just this sort of weak character.
Yeah.
which was the original point of the script of Michael Reeves' of his script, because he originally wanted Donald Pleasance, the guy who plays Loomis in Halloween. He wanted him to play Matthew Hopkins as like kind of this pathetic kind of con man character, like who he actually was, like in historical terms. But the studio that gave him funding wanted or they had a contract on file with Vincent Price, because Vincent Price is doing all those at the same time. He's doing all those kind of Edgar Allan Poe adaptations, like gothic horror with Roger Corman and stuff like that. Like he was in the same canon as like Christopher Lee, and like, you know, he played all these kind of iconic gothic horror characters, just like sort of the old guard of horror cinema. Whereas like Michael Reeves is like this young upstart kind of 60s kind of character, and he wanted a new take, something that wasn't as, you know, maybe as like conventional as what Price was used to. And so they really didn't get on, because they were basically forced to work together, and they hated each other all the way through. Like, you know, the final scene where he's getting hacked up. Reeves instructed the guy, what's his name, Marshall, to actually like have a go at him. like that's real swings of the axe. But you know, and there's a different scene where Price showed up drunk on set, and they had a big scrap and stuff like that. But it's sort of like it plays into the film so much, because it's like even behind the camera you had this battle between the new and the old. You know, and like at the same time it's released in 1968, which is like, you know, a huge year in terms of that kind of you know, conflict. But there's so many layers to the film, so much going on. He's very good in it. Like, even though it's not the original intention,
in it, honestly.
It's so like it's haunting, you know. He really pulls it off well, even though he's talking in this like American accent the entire time, walking around like East Anglia. He's like in Norwich. He's like, "Hey, I'm the Witchfinder General," you know.
Yeah, it's like, I am the Witchfinder General. No, but he's still fantastic in it. I do wish that he suffered a more brutal death. Like,
yeah,
at
he
the
should have
end,
been dunked.
At the end, you're just like, more, like, keep going. And even like your man at the end of it, Marshall, like, and he's like, like his two mates come in and they shoot Price, like Vince Price, to like put him out of his misery, whatever. And he's like, "You took him away from me," and he just keeps repeating it over and over again. He's fucking like, he's like an animal over him. It's like, it's a really intense ending, and then like the girl just like fucking screeches. It's fucked.
It is, but it's such a great story.
How come this is considered folk horror? Because I didn't really understand that aspect of it.
Well, it's all during the daytime, and there's a huge sort of element of the landscape and stuff.
I noticed, it's like the landscape and like all daytime, but like it's very different from like Wicker Man and Blood and Satan's Claw.
Yeah, it's way more of something that you sort of have to it's sort of like attached on, maybe.
But I understand why it does as well, because it's basically all talking about the same kind of area of like time. And like old forces, old and new clashing together and all that type of shit. That's seen all throughout folk horror. It's different. It's very different.
It's way more like romantic. It's like a romantic kind of tragedy kind of thing, you know. But it's not as
it's not even really a horror film. Well, it is a horror film, but like it's like a torture porn film nearly. Yeah,
you could remake it as a gore film basically these days. It's quite unconventional in terms of like folk horror. But yeah, obviously folk horror didn't exist back then. It's just like, this is probably like just like the building blocks of what, you know,
what it could be.
Well, yeah, what they theorized it to be, you know, because it's not so much about, you know, the cults and stuff like that, or sort of, but it does have that aspect of like sort of people coming together or superstitions sort of amounting to something horrible, you know. Because that's basically
it's being real in this film.
yeah, it's actually based on fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what the witch trials were, you know.
Have you seen Apostle yet?
No, what's that?
It's on Netflix. I think you should watch it because it's like having watched the trifecta now, the Trinity, the holy, the folk horror Trinity. Apostle definitely based itself on all those. It's on Netflix as well. It's a Netflix original film.
Bad.
It's like The Wicker Man, but it's also a little bit like Witchfinder General, and it's also like Blood and Satan's Claw in terms of like having an actual monster and stuff like that.
Oh right, yeah.
And then the landscape is important, and there's also like a guy that is like basically like a Vincent Price character in Apostle, where he leads the village kind of.
Yeah. Oh, your man did The Raid.
Yes. It's gory as well, by the way.
Not bad. Yeah, I have to give that a watch. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, you should give it a go.
Definitely give it a go now. Absolutely.
Thought that you gave Office Space a go.
Yeah, a little bit of a detour here, but it's completely different films. Yeah, I watched Office Space, which is also kind of a folk horror film.
It is of a modern era.
Yeah. You know, it's just,
I've seen this as well.
Yeah,
years ago.
It's good. It's good. It's like a satire of office life. You know, it's like this sort of boring dystopia. It's directed by Mike Judge, the guy that did Beavis and Butthead and Idiocracy. And
yes.
So he's good. He's
Mm.
a good sense of humor. He knows what he's doing, and it's funny. You know, even like the opening scene where they have they're all stuck in the traffic jam, and you sort of you're introduced to their characters. Like Peter's like mad, like sort of anal and stuff, and just sort of on edge all the time, and the other guy's like singing along to rap music and stuff. It's just like loads of gags like straight in. It's a great little setup as well. But yeah, it's basically about your man Peter Gibbons. And he's like high strung, and he doesn't know how to relax. He's the archetypal modern worker. He's always on the go, always like being demanded of, always sort of subject to the pressures of his management. And like that's a massive theme in the film.
I need you to come in the morning.
Yeah. He's that whole scene where he's running from his manager, trying to hide from him. That's like relatable, you know. But yeah, they really get on point as well with like the managerial language as well. I don't know your man's name who plays.
It's like that stuff in Sorry to Bother You when he's just like, we're all part of the same team. We're all teammates. We all need to work together.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna need you to come in the morning and on Sunday as well.
Yeah, because he knows he's a pushover basically. And he's always like, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and come in. You know, it's like always like it's everything's a question or everything's like sort of putting the emphasis on you.
Yeah.
And he's always saying, I need you to go ahead and like it's like it's not a direct kind of thing.
It's like I'm assuming that you're gonna say yes.
I want you to say yes. That's basically what it's saying, which is sort of the whole philosophy of office work these days, you know. But yeah, he's sort of trapped in that kind of quagmire, you know. It reminds me of a Zizek bit where he's talking about the difference between the USSR and America in terms of like the dictatorial style. And like in the USSR you'd be like he had this joke about a father who wants his daughter to come along to visit the grandma, and like in the USSR he'd be like, you must go visit your babushka. He's like, she needs you or whatever.
Babushka.
Whereas in the States it'd be like, your granny will be really sad if you don't come along this week or whatever. It's like the whole kind of, you know, I don't know if it's Western or like neoliberal or whatever, but it's kind of like everything's sort of deferred constantly to the bottom of the rung, like the bottom step on the ladder, and that's where Peter is, and he's just trying to live it basically. And he reaches this moment where he's in like it's like a psychotherapist or whatever, like an occupational hypnotherapist or something like that, and he's there with his girlfriend, and he's put under a spell. He's like, the hypnotherapist is like, when I click my fingers, you will relax every muscle in your body. Don't worry about anything. Just be completely relaxed.
Vibe.
Just vibe, and don't worry about anything going on in your life. And the entire time he's like sweating bullets, and he's like he's going all red in the face. He's like, when I click my fingers again, you will return to your normal self. And the hypnotherapist ends up keeling over and dying of a heart attack before he can click his fingers. So Peter is like trapped in this state of being like completely mellow and vibey, and like not really caring about anything for like the rest of the film. And that's the whole basis of it, basically, that he's like sort of the perfect worker because he just, nothing phases him. And he's also like the perfect kind of you know, he's like the liberated kind of liberated subject or whatever, because he also doesn't really care about work or any of his like relationship responsibilities. Like his girlfriend breaks up with him because he never shows up to work. He doesn't show up to work for like a week, and he comes back in and nothing happens basically. You know, which just goes to show, like, you know, if you don't worry, a lot of these things, like the bad things don't happen, stuff like that. It's a great film because it just goes on like that for a while, and they come up with some scheme to like steal from the company, because Peter finds out. Peter's like, they're doing like interviews to see who can be like downsized, and that's done really well as well. Like they bring in a guy and he's like, I'm an efficiency expert.
Oh yeah.
And they're all like, we're all getting sacked. We're all getting fired, guys. And they all do interviews. And Peter, it happens to be the day Peter comes in after a week off. He just sits down. He just tells it like it is to the efficiency expert, whatever. And instead of being like sort of appalled at the fact that he hasn't showed up for work and he doesn't care and he's not wearing a uniform, whatever, they're like, wow, this guy's so straight up. Like he can tell us what's wrong with this company. Yeah. And they end up actually sort of, based on what Peter says, they end up sort of deflecting onto the manager and being like, what do you actually do here? Yeah. Like Lindbergh, the manager. And he's like, he can't explain it because all he does is basically, you know, sort of organize and like micromanage the people in the cubicles basically.
He's a parasite.
He's a parasite, yeah. But yeah, and then they come up with some scheme to steal from the...
Me Steepler.
Yeah, that guy, yeah. He's funny. He is good.
He's great.
Yeah, I thought he'd be more of a character in it though, because he's in all the posters and he's in all the... like my only sort of knowledge of the film is like through like memes and stuff like that
of him, and
it's always him. But like he's only in it like a little bit basically. He's like a joke character basically. But yeah, but
he burns down the office as well though, doesn't he?
Yeah. He basically solves everything at the end, because the way they're trying to steal things through like a virus. They're going to put a virus in the computer system to send money into their accounts, because some of them got sacked. And it went wrong, and it ended up taking way too much, and it was too noticeable. So they're all going to come clean and go to prisons and stuff like that. But it ends up that the guy who's the biggest fucking loser in the entire building, he's been like a doormat the entire time. He's just like, he mutters everything under his breath, and like he's always worried about the fact that his stapler is being like stolen by the manager.
My stapler,
but Mr. Lindbergh. He ends up actually burning down the building, like actually following through on his promise the entire time, and everything works out great for everyone in the end. Like that's the only problem with the film. Like it has that really cool critique at the start, and the whole premise is really cool. Like Idiocracy was the same. It had like, you know, there is a critique there somewhere, but it's just done in a really weird kind of like liberal way. That's like, it doesn't. You can't follow through on it. Like it's so self-contained that there's nothing more to really say about it after you've finished watching it.
Yeah, you can't really reflect on it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
it's a shame when that happens.
It's a shame, but it's also a funny film, so I enjoyed it. You know,
it is funny.
Your man Ron Livingston, what a king! He's in The Conjuring and all. You know, he's a legend.
Who's he in Office Space?
He's the main guy, Peter.
From The Conjuring.
Yeah, he's the dad from The Conjuring. Yeah.
Wait, sorry, no, not the fucking paranormal investigator. The dad in The Conjuring.
No, the dad. Yeah,
okay, I can't remember. No, I don't remember him at all.
No, but he's great. He's the spits of David Lynch.
Is he?
He's the spits of David Lynch. At least in this film, he's like young David Lynch. Look him up in Office Space.
It's just photos of everyone else except for him. Okay, yeah, no, I see that. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's the spits.
Yeah, no, he is.
I don't think he really has the charisma to carry a main role though.
No.
He's like more of a side character. But he did a decent job.
Which makes sense why then, like in all the promotional shit, you don't know about him.
Yeah, that it does. Yeah, that's the thing. It sort of makes more sense now. But they should do more Office films, you know, more of those kinds of things.
You got The Office. That's it.
Yeah, that's the only comparison I had though, because I was thinking like another film to sort of watch as like a companion, and all I could think of was The Office. Yeah. Which is sort of, maybe it's so good that it just killed the genre, maybe.
Yeah, but because I imagine that, like, well, the UK Office is like that extra point that you want to go towards.
Yeah.
Like that's Office Space 2.0, like done better, basically.
Yeah.
And then the UK or the US Office, Jesus, that thing is so fucking long. Holy shit.
Yeah, if you were to make an Office satire, it'd be like impossible to make it without sort of deflecting to the Office or the US Office.
You'd end up referencing it.
Yeah, too much.
Which is painful. You
don't
want that.
Fuck
you don't want that.
Fuck that, lad. But yeah, what else did you watch this week?
I continued on with my my Rob Zombie shenanigans.
Rob Zombie, what a
guy.
Back
again.
What a guy.
I watched The Devil's Rejects yesterday.
I've heard this is really good.
Yeah. Like,
I've heard this is like a cult film.
yeah, I heard that as well, and I watched it thinking that, and I don't really see what. Like, it is good, right? Like,
It's
it is
good. Like compared to the last two films we watched, or last three, is it?
Okay, so compared to, like, I don't know if I prefer this or House of a Thousand Corpses. I think maybe this, but this one has like way less of a plot.
All right. What is the main premise?
Okay, so in House of a Thousand Corpses, like, you just follow this, like, the Firefly family, and they're basically the family from Texas Chainsaw, and then in The Devil's Rejects, it starts off, and the brother of the sheriff that died in House of the Thousand Corpses is coming after this family, and like, that's basically what the plot is. He's trying to get the people that killed his brother.
Oh, it's like a sequel, is it?
Yeah, it's a sequel, direct sequel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Takes place like a couple of months after House of the Thousand Corpses, and it stars Chop Top from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. He's one of the main trio. Then there's Sherry Moon Zombie, who's Rob Zombie's wife. She plays Baby. Otis is Tom Mosley or Mosley. I don't know his second name. That's Chop Top. And then I can't remember the third fella's name, but he plays Captain Bundacles or something like that. I can't remember his name. He's the clown one anyway.
Yeah.
And it's just them going about, but like, it's like completely like senseless violence, like in the purest form. It's like kind of.
Is that not what you're for? No, you're not pro senseless violence.
No, like, I'm gonna watch like 120 Days of Sodom and stuff like that eventually, because I've heard like, oh, it's about fascism, which is a good enough reason for me to then watch it. And Cannibal Holocaust, heard that there was a bit of a meaning there, so I'll watch that.
So there's no like subtext or anything, or like anything going on.
Like,
it's just violence.
It feels like there should be, because it feels like it's kind of saying something about like something weird. I can't even like. All right, so with like,
give us your wildest theory.
All right, 2000, so with the Halloween remake, the 2007 one, like, he tries to like make Michael Myers a likable character, like one that you can understand. In like The Devil's Rejects, like, he's like that seems to be the kind of like pieces that he's going for again, but like the trio that he goes with are the most like despicable, horrible human beings. Like, there's a moment where like two of them rock up to a motel, and for no reason they just walk into a hotel room and like torture and kill everyone there, and they like all of them die, and then they just move on. Like, you see the fucking violence and the horror that they like do to people.
Yeah.
And then the film, like in the third act, the cop that's been chasing after them is like this ruthless bastard as well. Like, he is basically like, under certain circumstances, he would be just as vicious as they are.
Yeah.
But like, in his head, he's doing it justified. Because he gets them, and he tortures the shit out of the three of them. He beats the shit out of them. He nails like Otis's hands to the chair and stuff like that.
Texas Chainsaw job.
And he staples like their victims onto them and stuff like that. And he like brutally like fucks them up. And then he lets go Baby, who's like the girl, and she fucks off and she starts running. And then he lights the house on fire and just goes chasing after her to like torture and kill her again, like, just to fuck with her. So like,
is this like a commentary on police brutality or something?
It's police brutality, like that. That is there, but it's also this weird relationship where you're just like in facing evil, you yourself can become evil.
Yeah. I suppose.
And like, that's really cool. And like, House of a Thousand Corpses, I kind of forgot to mention this before, or like in last week's episode. Like, House of a Thousand Corpses kind of has a message as well, but like, it's really undercooked. It's like this idea of like rich like city people going out and like laughing at the freaks in the back ends of nowhere and stuff like that, and in doing so they get fucked up because they go to like parts that you shouldn't go to, and like, that's kind of in House of a Thousand Corpses, but like, not really. And then Devil's Rejects kind of has this weird message going on, but not really either. Like, it's really weird. It's like, but like, it's interesting, like, to think about.
Yeah. Like,
And the tone in this one is way, way like pushed down as well. Like
It's not as crazy, no.
No, nowhere near as crazy. It's way like it's still kind of insane. Like it is.
It sounds pretty bad.
It is kind of insane, but like I understand like the grindhouse aspect that he's going for way more in this one than I did in House of a Thousand Corpses. House of a Thousand Corpses felt like it was almost like parodying it kind of, but this more feels like a like
a faithful
like a proper homage to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird, and I enjoyed it. But like, I also kind of fucking hated it because it does have like really senseless, like nasty violence in it. It's a really mean movie.
Yeah. Would this be like Tarantino's like he's like influenced by all that stuff, grindhouse stuff, grindhouse films anyway. Like, is it that kind of thing where it's just like there's some kind of meaning, but like you have to go so far into it. Like what is actually the meaning of grindhouse? Like as a genre, like what is it?
Like
what's it trying to say?
Exploitation movies.
Just exploitation.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Like I think that's what and like really cheap B movies.
Yeah. So it's bringing attention to like parodying itself almost.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
And being like just kind of like schlock, like junk food horror. Like that's what it kind of is.
Yeah.
But like with with Devil's Rejects, it's it has right. So this is the other thing about Rob Zombie that I forgot to mention as well last week is that he references horror movies a lot. Like El Super Beasto has like Mike Myers just pop up in it, and like that's the joke. The joke is there's Mike Myers,
Family Guy job,
or there's the alien from Alien, or there's Freddy Krueger and shit like that. Like it's just referencing it. It doesn't do anything. In Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses, like it's a proper like. It is basically Texas Chainsaw. Like it's the exact same kind of vibe that it's going for. It's like really brutal torture shit, which is weird because Texas Chainsaw isn't that.
Yeah,
but like that's what it's seen as.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a moment in the film as well where like Otis, who is played by Chop Top, who is in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he fucking takes the face off some dude and wears it and comes in to like the room where they have like that guy's girlfriend on the ground.
Yeah.
And he sticks the mask on top of her, and like that's something that's in like we've seen that in Texas Chainsaw.
That was
before.
in the film you were in, bro.
Yeah.
You know that's not a reference, is it? That's just doing it again.
And then like so she's the only survivor of like the massacre that's happened in this room, but she doesn't survive because the next day the cleaner comes in and she opens the door. And your one gets out, escaped, and she's running. She's just running crazy for ages with her boyfriend's face on her face. And she keeps running. And then she gets fucking splattered by a truck driving really quick by. And like that's like funny, but it's also like, wow, this movie's really mean.
Yeah. Paul Blart job.
Like, it's really weird. It's such a fucking strange movie.
Yeah.
And it is kind of good, but it's also really shit.
When's it from? When was it released? 2000 what? Recent?
I'm not sure.
How long is it?
An hour and 45 minutes, I think.
Hour 45. That's fine. It's a nice little sweet spot.
I think it is better. I think I'd prefer this to House of a Thousand Corpses, but House of a Thousand Corpses is also way more batshit insane. This is way more like violent. It's from 2005.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Back in the day. So these are basically what got him the Halloween job.
They must have been, yeah.
Yeah. Which
people love these films.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard so much about
like,
them.
Genuinely, like, you watching me and I'm like, I can see why.
Yeah, like good production values.
But but it's also kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, these films are really entertaining and, like, kind of good, but they're also shit.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't get it.
I think you have to watch these two films. They're kind of enigmas.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't get the whole thing where people get like people like bad films. Well, I suppose I do to an extent.
But they're not even bad. That's like
they're just like
schlock.
Schlock, yeah, I suppose.
Really good schlock.
Yeah.
It's McDonald's, man. It's like I like it, but like, you know, I don't really know why I like it.
Yeah, I was hankering for McDonald's there last night, man. I was almost gonna press the button order, you know. Literally right as it's about to close. But I don't know why. I don't like McDonald's. I haven't eaten McDonald's in like 2 years or something.
I hate McDonald's.
Yeah.
I still get it though.
I still get it, yeah. I don't know why.
And this is what Rob Zombie is.
Yeah.
So like like so with the House of Thousand Corpses is like 2002, 2003, maybe 2001, and then this is 2005.
Yeah.
Three from Hell is the third film in this franchise and came out like I think like 2019.
Jesus.
So 14 years went by, and then the third one came out because at the end of this film, the protagonists get fucking butchered in a shootout
At the end of this
with
one?
the police. The police massacre them.
Oh God. So, yeah, Jesus.
So I think Three from Hell is literally they come out of hell.
They come back.
Yeah, they come back from hell.
Yeah. Well,
And this is the other thing. Sorry, this is the thing I meant to say earlier on about how Rob Zombie like references other horror movies. Devil's Rejects has you know the guy from fucking Hills of Eyes, like the guy that's on the cover.
Yeah.
He's in this.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's in this film, and so is Ken Fourier. He's in Dawn of the Dead. Like he's the like he's the black guy from Dawn of the Dead. So like, and he's also in Texas Chainsaw. He's in the third one. Remember the hunter dude?
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah. How did he survive? That guy was a king though.
Yeah, he's a king. He's in loads of horror movies. Like he's a king.
Yeah.
He's in loads of shit.
It's like a little community, you know.
Yeah, but that's and like all these people work with like Rob Zombie again and again. He's obviously really nice to work with.
Obviously
something.
a nice guy. Yeah, not like a Glenn Danzig kind of situation, you know.
And like fucking Malcolm McDowell as well. He was in both Halloween movies, and he's also in Rob Zombie's 31, which is like a new enough Rob Zombie movie as again, which is like.
Yeah, even
it's so weird.
One of the greats working with Rob. Yeah, something about that, I suppose. You know, making the leap. He did a Michael Jordan. You know.
Yeah.
Jumping from one medium to another.
Like fair play to him.
You know, yeah. Like even Jordan wasn't good at baseball. You know, Rob Zombie at least clearly he's doing something with film. You know,
he's just something. But he did. See, this is the thing. I noticed now that like I really liked the first two things that he did. Everything since Devil's Rejects, I've watched them out of order.
Yeah,
but like, everything like post the Devil's Rejects, so like Halloween 1, Halloween 2, El Super Beasto, I fucking hate them.
Yeah.
And I watched his trailer that was involved in we're talking about Grindhouse. He literally did a trailer for Grindhouse, you know, that double feature thing of Death Proof and Planet Terror.
Oh right, yeah,
the thing that Quentin Tarantino's involved in, and Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
He did Rob Zombie did a fake trailer for a fake movie that was played in between the two films in that double feature.
Yeah.
And that's
a cool idea.
The Nazi werewolf, vampire, some shit. I don't know what the fuck
Nazi
it's called.
werewolves. What's that about? So have you seen that?
It's a trailer. It's a trailer for a film that doesn't exist.
Is it good? Is it? Would you watch the film?
Oh God, no.
No, why not?
Like
we just watched all these.
Yeah, no, but like if that was an actual, I don't know.
You'd have to watch it.
I feel
like I'd watch it as
but
well.
Like this thing could never be made.
Why?
Because the Nazis are like portrayed as the good guys.
Good guys. That is gas. That's gas. The Nazis are the good guys. Yeah, that's such a unique kind of genre of film. You know, like how far do you have to go back to find one of those films? You know. The 40s.
Yeah. Like genuinely the 40s.
Yeah. But it's a funny concept though, because like that's the thing. Like, it's something that no one would ever do.
There has to be like pro-Nazi indie films.
I don't know, like with the fucking ukulele playing in the background and the trailer and stuff like that, like an indie film, like proper. But it's about Nazis being the good guys.
I think, yeah, but like you know,
it's a coming of age story.
Because like there's like Nazi like punk bands and stuff like that still. So surely there's like
it's probably just stuff on YouTube. It has like 200 views or stuff like that.
Still be made though by someone.
Yeah,
some absolute fucking freak.
Some freaks. Yeah, it's something for everyone though. Yeah, that's what it sounds cool.
They must be terrible films. Just thinking about it.
Yeah, let's go find them. Oh.
No.
Do a new series. Yeah, fuck that. No, but yeah, that's funny though.
Like it's okay. Like it is pretty good, but like
they sound like sort of twin souls, like him and like Tarantino, Rodriguez, stuff like that. You know, all kind of the same vibe, isn't it?
And that guy, what's his name? Eli Roth.
Yeah. He did.
Eli Roth, you dirty man.
Yeah, what have I seen that he did? I don't think I've
He's
seen
done Hostel.
Hostel, all down.
He did.
He did. Was he involved with Saw and stuff like that?
No, I don't know because he did Hostel, so I don't think so.
No.
Green Inferno.
Green Inferno, I remember that.
And
I didn't watch it though.
What the fuck did he get famous from doing? He did he do Dawn of the Dead?
I feel like he might have.
No, not Dawn of the Dead. From Dusk Till Dawn. Or is that Robert Rodriguez?
That's Rodriguez, yeah.
Okay, I have no idea what the fuck Eli Roth did then.
Oh, he looks like you remember Spock from Star Trek.
Yeah, he does.
Man, he's only 49.
I have no idea what he has done though. Hostel is fucking terrible. Hostel is
Cabin Fever. Cabin Fever.
Oh yeah, Cabin Fever is meant to be fun. I've heard of that.
Really?
And I do want to watch it.
He also starred in Death Proof. Oh, he's an actor as well.
Oh, he is literally done fuck all.
Yeah, he actually has. Like, how is he a household name?
Must be Hostel.
Seems just off Hostel, yeah. Jesus.
Hostel 1 is really bad.
I've never seen them. I wouldn't go near them, you know.
Man, they're
Too
not as
squeamish.
gory as you think that they're going to be though.
Oh, really?
The most gory thing in it is this cut where a girl is about to get her fucking toe cut off, and then like as it clamps down, it cuts to someone like clipping their toenails.
Yeah. I just don't like that.
And that's
I can't handle that stuff.
Like it's just like but like that's the most that's the most brutal thing in it.
But like that's just bad vibes, isn't it?
It's bad vibes.
You just be like it just sort of ruins your day.
It's also like a vaguely xenophobic film.
Is it? Oh, it's about like Eastern Europe and stuff.
Something like that. And it's just like, if you go to these foreign countries, bad things will happen to you.
Yeah, these guys are crazy. You know, they speak different languages.
Yeah. And the place that they go to is an absolute shithole.
yeah. Sure, back in the day,
I think it's like Bulgaria or something. I don't know where they go to, but
yeah, they were all fucked in 2000s.
Yeah, Hostel isn't even good.
Yeah, fuck
I never liked it.
I also see you watched Texas Chainsaw.
I did.
Which leads into or leads from kind of from Rob Zombie.
Yeah, Texas Chainsaw. The prequel to the remake. I hate franchises.
Yeah,
I hate franchises. So this is a 2006, maybe 2006-7.
One of those bad years.
Sequel, fucking prequel to the 2003 remake of Texas Chainsaw, called Texas Chainsaw: The Beginning. Tells like how Leatherface became Leatherface, basically.
Origin stories. Have they ever worked? Have they ever actually worked?
No.
I don't think they have.
No.
Man, I used to love...
Prequels are a bad idea.
Thomas Schlock, I used to love X-Men Origins Wolverine. I used to think that was class. I thought that was so good.
Mark.
I saw that in cinemas back in the day, and when he tears down that helicopter, that's amazing.
That's pretty cool.
That's so cool. I was like, whoa, I've never seen anything like that before, and I loved it. But obviously, it's a bad film. You know?
Oh yeah, no.
It's a bad film. All them films are bad, but like origin stories, they don't work. They don't work.
Prequels in general don't work. Like, name a good prequel.
Yeah. But we have terrible memories, to be fair.
Yeah,
Like, I don't think we could name a prequel if we had a list, you know.
Like, prequels are never good.
They're not.
I'm gonna
They're
find
definitely.
I'm gonna pause.
The Godfather Part 2, maybe. That's kind of a prequel.
That's a sequel and a prequel.
Yeah, true. Prometheus.
The Hobbit. The Hobbit came up.
The Hobbit's shite.
Hobbit's shite. What did you say there?
Prometheus.
Prometheus is good.
Prometheus is good. People hate it though. People don't like it.
Alien Covenant is also terrible, but it's also kind of good in how bad it is.
Yeah, Covenant is not good at all. Prometheus at least has something going on underneath the hood, you know?
Yeah.
Has some kind of, some fucking cogs whirring down there. Casino Royale. I haven't seen it. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. There we go. There we go. That's a great sequel. Or prequel, sorry.
Texas Chainsaw Beginning is a bad prequel. But, it's kind of interesting because I think that they're aware that people do read into, like, the people that made this film are aware that people read into, like, you know, the original Texas Chainsaw. Because there is something going on at the start of the film. Like, they're doing something. They're also doing a lot of shite. Like, in this, Leatherface is born in the meat factory.
He's born in it. Like, how?
This woman is working away, and she dies by having, like, what's the word? Like an early birth. What's the word for that?
Premature pregnancy or
premature birth. But the baby survives, and the like owner of the meat factory just picks up the baby and just fucks it in the bin. And then this like hick woman finds it, and then that becomes Leatherface. Grows up to become Leatherface. And then Leatherface is working in the factory his entire life, and the factory gets closed down, and he's told, you gotta leave, like get the fuck out of here. And there's like this moment where you think, oh, he's gonna kill the guy that's telling him to leave, and he doesn't. He walks out, but then he comes back and he kills the owner of the meat factory, the guy that threw him into the bin when he was a baby.
Yeah,
but Leatherface doesn't know that. His name is Tommy in this film. Thomas Hewitt.
The Hewitts. Yeah.
And like, there's all this stuff at the start of the film about the fact that the meat factory's closing, and how the entire town relies on the meat factory, and that once this meat factory like closes, everyone here has to leave, and that's what they're saying. Everyone is leaving. The sheriff is like, I'm moving to Arizona or something like in a few months' time. Like this, when the meat factory's closed, they're fucked. But the Hewitts don't want to leave. Like they're like, we were born here, and we're gonna fucking die here, and we're gonna do whatever we can to survive, which is to be murderous, torturous cannibals.
You know, gotta make a living somehow.
But that is interesting. Like this idea, like this whole thing in Nomadland as well.
Yeah,
the story of like
Empire closing down.
The Empire like the fucking place. Yeah,
the town Empire. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant like the concept of an empire.
No, yeah. I think that was the name of the town. Yeah, closes down, but they never elaborate in Nomadland.
No.
On like really why, or like, you know, how that relates to you know, society or whatever, or the characters that are the people that had to actually leave the town. You know, which is it was a big thing obviously in Texas Chainsaw back in the day,
and it's a big thing in this film as well.
Yeah, you know,
that they touch on that type of stuff.
Yeah,
and like this film is like the horrors of like these people that have no support system, having to like fend for themselves because society's left them behind. And there's also this thing about Vietnam going on in the film. We follow 4 people. Don't ask me any of their fucking names. No fucking idea. The 4 of them are driving off, and it's two fellas and 2 girls. And the 2 boys are on their way to Vietnam. One of them, the brothers, the older of the 2, has been in Vietnam and come back, and his brother is now going to come over with him. But his brother doesn't want to go. He's like, fuck that. I've heard about the things that you've seen, the things that you've done, and I don't want that for me. And the whole time, like the way that they like talk about Vietnam is the characters will say, you'll be surprised what you get used to once you're in it long enough.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's what the Hewitts have done. The Hewitts have like been doing this for so long that like these horrifying things that they do don't really mean that much to them anymore because they're used to it.
Yeah.
Especially because they've been working in the meat factory and they just see humans as meat now. So like, it's like Vietnam as well had that effect on the people that went there. They performed these horrendous, brutal fucking things. But if you do something long enough, you get used to it.
Yeah, part of life.
And then, so that whole thing's going on. It's also like this, like leading the lambs to slaughter. Like on one, it's like a road that they had a choice on. One road went down to Vietnam. The other one went to fucking the Hewitt family. Which one would you prefer?
Yeah, that's a cursed kind of choice.
Yeah.
You know?
So like, there's interesting shit going on in this film. But then it just drops the ball, and then it just becomes an average film, and it's actually kind of boring at the end because it's just shit that you've seen before.
Yeah. So like is the lead up directly into the remake? Or
it leads up like a few months beforehand.
So he's just
or
doing
actually
his
maybe
thing.
a couple of years. Actually, I'm not sure.
When does he get his mask, or is he?
He's wearing a half mask type of thing.
Oh, because his face fucked up?
His face is kind of fucked up, but like you don't really see it. They do a good enough job, but like you can kind of make it out. But he wears this like half mask kind of thing. He kind of looks like Bane. He kind of looks like Bane's evil fucked up brother.
Yeah, that'd be a cool fight. Bane versus Leatherface. You know,
Leatherface would kick the shit out of Bane.
He actually would. Yeah, fucking Tom Hardy. Good luck to you.
Tom Hewitt.
Yeah, Tom Hardy, Tom Hewitt. See who wins.
But so then he never gets like the full like Leatherface. He just skin a dude, like peel the dude's face off, and like he pulls it off to the point where like afterwards there's a shot of like the like what remains, and it's just this like bloody skull attached to a body. It looks horrible. It looks awful. But like that's the first mask that he makes. And and it looks weird. It does look weird, and I like the hair. Kind of weirdly looks like the hair that would like in the original one that he has.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it kind of does, not really, but kind of. But this film is way more gory than anything that we've seen in the franchise so far.
Really?
Like, by a mile.
Even the third one.
Oh yeah, way more.
Jesus. Like all the kills and stuff.
Oh man, like these kids get fucked up. Like especially like in terms of that guy that gets his face like peeled off. He Leatherface like ties him down or whatever and just like extracts meat from his wrists, but while he's still alive and he like can feel it all.
Yeah.
And then he kills him and he peels his face off and like he massacres him with a fucking chainsaw and stuff like that.
God.
Another girl is she gets her teeth pulled out, but we don't see it. We see the aftermath of it, and then like Leatherface comes over and he just slits her throat. This other dude gets the shit kicked out of him and then ends up standing on a fucking bear trap, and then afterwards is like chainsawed in half and shit like that. Like, these people get fucking butchered, and there's not many kills in it, but like fuck me, they get the shit kicked out of them.
Yeah, because you always have that sort of idea of Texas Chainsaw being this mad gore fest, like a proper slasher film. But obviously the original isn't, and even to like a lesser extent, the rest of the series isn't really either.
The rest of the series is pretty funny. Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and Next Generation are probably the most fucked up ones, but they're also the funniest ones.
Yeah. Like it's sort of lighthearted.
Yeah,
and like there's scenes obviously in the second one which are pretty bad, and the third one, but like it's not that bad. But like this would have been around the time, what was it? Or like late 2000s.
Yeah, mid 2000s, late 2000s.
That's when like we'd be growing up.
Yeah,
and like it was always like that's what you'd hear about. It's like, oh, this film's so fucked up. So I assume like that's kind of played into the whole I don't know, so like the franchise kind of vision of Leatherface these days, because obviously these days they have the new focus on Leatherface, you know, being like a Freddy or a Jason or something like that. You know, it's always about, it's a sort of more conventional kind of slasher kind of role instead of you know, what you see in the original. It's
super weird as well that like the two that survived, like we haven't had a fucking Freddy film or a Jason film since the remakes, but Leatherface and Michael Myers are still going, and they're the two ones that started it off basically.
Yeah, two OGs.
Yeah, the two oldest ones, and they're still going.
Yeah, when was the last Freddy? Was what, 2009?
Yeah.
And the last Jason was that not
2008?
Yeah. Good riddance, to be honest.
Yeah.
They're shy.
But like, that's the thing, like that's Michael Myers, he had like Halloween 2018, fantastic film.
Yeah, they have something going, you know.
Like,
something happening.
Like Texas Chainsaw, Leatherface hasn't had a good film since the first one.
Yeah.
Like, I have to say though,
50 years.
The prequel to the remake is, I think I prefer it, like.
Oh yeah, where would you rank this in our? Because obviously this is quite delayed. This is quite far out from our original series.
I'm glad that we didn't do this though. Honestly,
it's not worth no.
No, because like this film is still fucking bad.
Yeah,
like it looks like shit. It's so poorly shot. It doesn't look good at all. And then like at the halfway point, well, like when all these things about like Vietnam and like this family being left behind and all this shit, like that stops like 40 minutes into the film, and you have 50 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And the 50 minutes to play out is just everything that you've seen before. Just blood, violence, gore, just all that shit. And it's not interesting, and it looks like shit, and it's not scary, and it's just bleh.
Yeah. Oh, where would you put it in the canon?
I don't know if I'd put it above Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 or below it, honestly.
So where's that?
Well, I got number 1 is Texas Chainsaw, obviously.
Yeah.
Then Next Generation is the second best one.
Fair.
And then the third one is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
All right, or this.
Oh, okay.
That's not bad. But yeah, like the selection isn't great to be fair. It's not great.
Like you're below the Next Generation. With the Next Generation is like,
it's not a good film.
It's dog shit, but it's amazing.
It's amazing in a different way. Yeah. Well, like it sounds like it's kind of, so it's better than the remake then. So then it's worth a look
by a mile.
To an extent.
I think people don't think it's better than the remake. I think this thing is way better than the remake. It's way more interesting, Like the start of it tries things out. Doesn't fulfill on it, but like at least tries it out.
Yeah, the remake is a bit silly. Quite a bit silly, you know.
The remake is just shallow.
Yeah. Just stupid shit happening.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the whole Hewitt thing as well. Like, why'd they have to give him a name and stuff?
And everything about the fucking... Like, the worst thing about this prequel, though, is like how it like explains everything that's in the remake.
Really? Like the sheriff and stuff?
Oh, yeah. Well, the sheriff... Do you want to know what the sheriff did?
What did he
The
do?
sheriff is some relation to Leatherface. I don't know what the relationship is. He's some form of relationship. And Leatherface is after killing the manager of the meat factory. Like, fucking... Those legs, bro. Those legs got fucked up with that hammer, let me tell you. Mangled to fucking bits. And, like, it doesn't shy away. It's really brutal.
Jesus.
And then Leatherface is, like, flowing about or whatever. And the sheriff of the town comes to the Hewitt family. And he's like, Uncle Hewitt, whoever the fuck you are, I can't remember his name. Come with me. Your son is after fucking killing a dude. He gets in the car with the sheriff. They drive off. They find Tom Hewitt. And Uncle Hewitt gets out of the car and shoots the sheriff and takes his clothes. That sheriff that he kills is Hoyt, or like Sheriff Hoyt, and that's who he then becomes. He just assumes that dead man's identity, and that's how he's the sheriff of the place.
All right, yeah. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
Dude with the no legs in the wheelchair in the remake. Tell you what happened to him. What happened to him was...
Oh, yeah.
So they killed a biker and a biker girl and the biker boy came back to, like, kill them. They killed him, but before they killed him, he shot the leg of the guy in the wheelchair, like, when he had legs.
Yeah.
And then Leatherface comes in and, like, saws off that leg. And then Sheriff Hoyt is just like, oh, he's uneven, cut off the other leg. So Leatherface just cuts off the other leg as well, and that's why he has no legs.
Yeah, like there's no need to
explain
that kind of thing, you know? You can make that up in your head. Or just like forget about it entirely, you know?
Or like make it not that. Like I can imagine 1,000 better fucking ways to make that happen.
He's uneven. Like what's like they clearly made that up like after the fact. Yeah, they're like, oh, we need an explanation for this for some reason.
Yeah.
Who directed it? Who was the mastermind behind this?
He has done something. No, he's actually done something. I will tell you now what that is. Oh, he has done the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film from 2014. He did Wrath of the Titans, and he did Battle Los Angeles. He also did Rings. Oh no, sorry, no, he didn't do the film Rings. He did the short film Rings.
What's Rings?
It's from 2005. It's like a sequel or whatever. It's a short film of the Ring.
Yeah, Battle LA and Wrath of the Titans. They're not good, but I liked them back in the day.
But that's this film. It's not good, but I kind of like it.
Yeah. I liked Battle LA, even though it was shy.
This thing was also... Whoa, I think I might have that wrong.
What?
I was going to say it's produced by...
Michael Bay?
Hooper and Kennel, but I think it is just Michael Bay. No, yeah, they're there. Yeah, Toby Hooper is a producer on this thing as well.
Toby, what are you doing, bro?
And Kim Henkel. The two of them are producers on this
Kim Henkel, he should have been banned.
There's so many... Barred from this franchise. So many producers on this thing. The writer also wrote The Crow and also wrote Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 Leatherface.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least they're still doing work, you know? Like, imagine having that cow to milk for the rest of your life.
Texas Chainsaw, the beginning, kind of interesting. Kind of just like Rob Zombie movies.
Give it a look.
But a little bit... I don't know. Like,
There's no recommend here. It's like it's not a thumbs up. It's not a thumbs down.
It's like... It's slightly tilting down because it turns boring in the last 50 minutes.
It's an ambiguous thing.
Like, I watched the last 50 minutes in this thing on 1.25 speed.
Yeah. Well, that's how you have to do it for most films, you know? 1.25. 1.5, it's getting a bit boring, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Oh, well.
That's my technique.
What can you do?
Yeah, go for a break.
Shout.
Let's do it, bro.
And we back. What you been watching this week as well?
I also watched the Wes Craven movie. The man behind Scream.
And also Nightmare on Elm Street, which we mentioned.
True. It's called People Under the Stairs. 1992 film. Or 1991, something like that.
Never heard of it.
And yeah, I'd never heard of it either. But I was looking up cult films, and I was like, I want to watch a cult film for some reason.
As in a film about cults?
No,
or a
like
cult film?
a cult film.
Yeah.
I want to watch a film that only some people like, you know, but it's
Yeah.
like kind of like has a new following, and People in the Stairs has a big following because actually of its subtext. It's actually about gentrification and landlordism and capitalism apparently.
Okay.
Yeah. Because basically it follows it's pretty hard to explain, but basically it follows like a child, and he's living in like a slum basically, and his family are poor as fuck, and his mom has cancer and shit like that, and they're behind on the rents. So he needs to get the rent together. He wants to pay for his mom's treatment, and they're black as well. They're in the ghetto, so they're not having a good time in like 80s America, which is when it's set. And there's like this sort of gangster character who shows up, but at the same time he's like he was played by the guy who's he's in Pulp Fiction as well, Ving Rhames. He's in a lot of stuff.
Who is he in Pulp Fiction?
Marcellus.
Oh yeah,
he's your man. Yeah. But yeah, he shows up, and he's almost like from the Black Panthers. He's talking about how, because he's in the same neighborhood, he's talking about how he wants to rob the landlord.
Yeah.
And like that'll get the money for the kids, you know, the mom's treatment and the rent and all that stuff, because he knows they have like this stash of like really rare coins that they can sell on for scrap, or just like to sell on to like a pawn shop or whatever. And so he gets the kid involved in this heist, and there's another guy as well involved, and the whole first third of the film is based around trying to break into this gaff, the landlord's gaff. It's this big manor kind of. It's in the same neighborhood, but it's like
different.
Like a mad, very different kind of aesthetic. Like their house is actually put together.
Yeah,
and it's like basically indestructible. It's a fortress compared to like the ghetto kind of stuff, which is just falling apart. And like that's sort of the first thing that you notice. Like the house is basically indestructible. Yeah, there's something weird about it, because at the start it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like a horror film at all. And it's not really a horror film, but there's something weird. It's like it's hard to put into a box. It's almost like it's like a thriller. It's like almost like there's like a Goonies vibe off it, because the kid's in it, and he's like, it's really satirical, and it's witty. There's like loads of cool jokes and stuff.
So this is like Scream Wes Craven rather than Nightmare on Elm Street Wes Craven.
Yeah, very much a satirical kind of vibe. But it's actually based on a true story as well, where I think it was in LA in the 90s. A lot of burglars broke into a gaff, and it turns out in the process of burglarizing the gaff, they realized that there were 2 children locked away in the attic, and it was like a big story. It's like, oh, what the fuck? It's like one of those things where like the burglar finds something, the crime is being committed, but an even worse crime is uncovered in the process. And that's the thing with the film, because they break into this house, and they're the slumlords basically, and they're hiding their daughter away. She's locked up upstairs, and there's loads of, you know, it's called The People Under the Stairs. There's also a whole pool of like sort of eunuchs, like people who are just like have been butchered by the landlords downstairs. It's like a horror house. It's like a haunted house basically. Yeah. And the film takes like a massive like tonal shift, where it's more of it's like slasher kind of.
It's like Don't Breathe kind of, or something like that.
I've never seen that, but
like Don't Breathe is about like burglars that like break into a gaff, but then because they're like, oh, this is a blind dude, that it'll be fine. But the blind dude is like a fucking Freddy Krueger or like Michael Myers figure, and he's more dangerous than they are.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like they're way more dangerous than you expect. They're all fucked up as well. It's almost like Home from X-Files, that episode. Yeah, because they're all like, there's like a sexual relationship between them. Obviously, they're like husband and wife, but they call each other mommy and daddy. The dad's like, there's points in the film where it starts escalating, and the dad's running around in a gimp suit with a shotgun and like shooting into the walls. You're like, what the fuck? Like this is nothing to do with the first part of the film. But it's just the way it's doing that. It's just like, what is this film about? Yeah. And it's basically about you know, working class power and stuff like that, and like capitalism and gentrification. Because obviously they're like the white sort of landlords who are posed against the rest of the neighborhood, who are all like minorities and poor people, but also against, like, within their own house, within their own kind of like their own space that they've created for themselves. They're also against their daughter, like the young person. Yeah. The the vulnerable young person, and then the people under the stairs themselves who are like sort of like, I don't know, brainwashed kind of. They're more like animals than humans at that stage, because they've been sort of fucked up by the landlords and the and mommy and daddy and stuff like that. So it's going a lot of weird places at the start, and like the burglars are in there and they can't find a way out because everything's locked, and like the windows are indestructible that you can't break them. And one by one they're all picked off except for the kid. The kid survives and he gets out, but like he decides to go back in to save the girl, because the girl saves him basically. And there's also a guy running around the walls of the gaff. His name is Roach, and his tongue has been cut out. And so like the landlords are like suddenly surrounded by people who are like the kid who's trying to break, the young black kid trying to break into the gaff and steal their riches. The daughter has turned against them, and there's a man with no voice running around in the walls, also plotting their demise. So there's a lot of symbology going on, a lot of symbolic kind of interactions going on. But it just like the kid comes back to save the girl anyway, and there's a whole kind of showdown scene, which basically culminates in the tenants union showing up at the door of the house. Yeah. And there's like an angry mob outside, and there's a big showdown between like the mommy and daddy, and pretty much them against pretty much everyone else. And they're overthrown basically. They break into the gaff, and the people from under the stairs rise up, like physically rise up from the basement, and grab hold of mommy and slit her throat and throw her down into the basement, which is where the daddy in a gimp suit is waiting, and he gets blown up with dynamite. And the end scene is because they have all this money stored downstairs in the basement in this like secret compartment or whatever, and the end scene is literally dollar bills floating down on the rest of the neighborhood.
Christ, yeah.
There's so much.
Yeah, it's like, really, it's not even like,
it's extremely on the nose, but at the same time you're like why did Wes Craven make this? You know, because it's like, it's so like you can make this today and people are like, wow, this is really deep or whatever. But you made this in 1992, you know, like just after the peak of Reagan, after the fall of the Soviets, and it's basically about how about blowing up a landlord and taking all their money and like making the neighborhood better, which is like a really cool kind of. I found it really fascinating the way that he even tried to go for that, you know. Yeah.
That's so fucking weird.
Yeah, and
that's not what I was expecting it to be at all. Like the people under the stairs, like what the fuck is that?
Yeah, I was expecting like a flowers in the attic kind of thing, where it's just like just a kid sort of kept under the stairs, or like some dark secret under the stairs. But the dark secret is basically that they're fucking over the working class, and you know, at the same time it's also out in the open, and they're always the police are very cooperative with them and stuff like that. Like, it's shown that the state basically doesn't care about what's going on either in the house or like on a more systemic level, like in the neighborhood or whatever. And when the tenants union show up, or it's not really a tenants union, it's just the people from the block being like, "Hey, bitch, like give me your money," and they're like, "Oh, like use our fucking parasites, use charge extortionate rents, but let the buildings fall into disrepair. When people can't pay their rents, you evict them and then turn the buildings into office blocks." It's just describing
what goes on now.
Yeah, gentrification just in general, like, and the landlords are just like, "Oh, fuck off! Like you've no business being here." And it's sort of the backstory to them is that they were like funeral directors, and they sold cheap coffins for like massive prices, and off the back of that they bought a property and were able to like build up like a real estate.
They literally profited off the dead.
That's the thing. Yeah. And then they're in like a poor black neighborhood, so like the people they'd be like putting in coffins are like people who are also victims of like, you know, previous systemic abuse and stuff like that. And they're able to build up a real estate empire where they just basically sit around doing nothing, torturing their daughter, who isn't actually their daughter, and like torturing random people who show up to the house and like putting them under their basement, all the while like making a living off all the poor people around them. Yeah. And they're just basically social parasites, and they're completely fucked up. They're like portrayed as like absolute insane maniacs, but they're like trying to maintain this sort of this facade of being like normal, and like keeping control over the house. Like all they care about is the house, really. And I suppose that's like a metaphor for like, I don't know, society, or like I I don't know, Proper Society or something like that.
Is this film good? Like, I know everything that you're saying is good, but like, is the actual film itself?
Production wise, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it good? I don't know if it's good.
Yeah.
It is. It's like, it's a weird. Tonally, it's very weird because it has all this. Like, your man from Pulp Fiction gets like, he gets shot, like he gets fucked up and he dies.
Is it gory?
Not really, no. And then you have the people in the basement, pretty scary. Like, they're just like, they've cut off their ears and their tongues, and some of them don't have eyes. It's like see no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil, all that stuff. And it's a fucked up premise and stuff. And it's scary at points, especially when Daddy's walking around in a gimp suit, like yelling and like shooting into the walls. Like, you wouldn't show this to someone under 18, I don't think. But at the same time, it has this weird kind of like zany, like Goonies vibe off it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the kid, but the kid's like a real like smart aleck kind of thing, where he's like, he's not afraid of anything. He actually blows up Daddy at the end, while he's like training a shotgun on him. Like, he's no fear whatsoever, and he's like spitting in the face of power, I suppose.
God, this sounds so weird.
Yeah, it is. It's
a
very
fucking
strange.
weird movie.
Yeah, but it's not something that like I feel like I've heard or seen it in like a DVD shop or something.
Because it's Wes Craven, you probably have heard of it.
Yeah, but like, the title is not what the film is.
The title is super generic.
Yeah, it's something that like based on the title, I'd be like, I might watch it. Like, it sounds interesting enough, like a sort of a generic horror film. But it's not that. It's not really. I wouldn't say it's a horror film at all. Really, it's like a social critique. It's like fucking. It's like a Maoist Wes Craven movie. You know, it's like just blowing up landlords.
Yeah.
You know, it's a strange one that I wasn't really expecting, because I had read that it was like had all these critiques in it, but it wasn't expected to be so like flagrant.
Yeah,
like,
so on the nose.
Yeah, like he just comes out and says it basically. He's like, just blow up your landlord.
Because like, especially like when you started saying like, oh, it's about gentrification, I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have to read really hard into this.
No, it's actually
it's like proper on the nose.
There's an actual mob that shows up outside their manor,
and then money rains down from the sky.
Money rains down from the sky, and the people from the basement rise up, grab her, slit her throat, and then throw her down into the basement. And then at the end, like, the people from under the stairs are running around the neighborhood, like grabbing the dollar bills and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what you do.
That's what happens. Yeah.
That's super weird.
It's good though. It's interesting film.
Do you agree with the cult status of it now? Then.
Yeah. Especially because like you have loads of generic films, especially horror films back then. It's just like, you know, there's no point really watching them. Like, they're pretty good for their time, and they'd be good if they're on TV. You'd be like, I wouldn't mind watching it. But this is something that you could maybe like watch
You'd
for like
seek out.
There's some kind of historical value to it, you know. In the sense it's not something that you see very often. Especially because, like, you know, it's Hollywood and all the people who make it are rich.
Yeah.
And probably are landlords themselves, and they're just like.
And the fact that it's Wes Craven as well, you wouldn't really expect that from.
Yeah,
like,
Wes.
It makes sense with like Scream, but Scream is a parody of a genre.
Of a genre, yeah. This is like a parody of like real life.
Yeah.
You know.
That's so weird.
But it's like.
Did this come out before or after Scream? Now I think about it. Scream's like 91, isn't it?
I don't know. I thought Scream was like 96.
Maybe it is. Maybe
this is 91, 92. It came out in Ireland in 92. It was 1991 in the States. So I don't know if he made 2 films in a year. But yeah, like, it's on.
Yeah, Scream is 96. Jesus, way off.
Is it? Yeah. But yeah, it's you know, like, I wouldn't watch it again, but it's like something funny to watch.
Oh shit, he did the Hills Have Eyes as well. Fucking hell.
He was a good guy. Died what, like a few years ago?
He directed all 4 of the Scream movies. Did he actually? Wow, I didn't know that. What are you doing, Wes?
Wes.
Jesus. Yeah, People Upstairs 91. Let's guess.
A great man.
Add that to the watch list.
Yeah.
Yeah, but speaking about anti-capitalism, Mark, how about a film that has an anti-capitalist message brought to you by the good socialist folk in Sony and Netflix?
The Japanese.
The Mitchells versus the Machines.
Yeah, what the fuck is this?
This is the new Netflix animated film. I don't know, like, I think it's Sony, so I think Sony did Into the Spider-Verse, or at least the people that worked on Into the Spider-Verse maybe worked on this. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure that's part of the marketing. Yeah, this is pretty good. It is good. It's maybe very good, but it has a few flaws. and one of them is the really weird critique of capitalism in the film and like the information age and all that shit. Where like it's about it's sometime in the near future, and kind of Elon Musk kind of what Jeff Bezos kind of figure, like a what's your man's name, Steve Jobs, kind of figure, is making like all these phones that people have, and has a fucking Siri on it. And the Siri's really, really smart. Siri's really, really good, way better than the Siri that we have.
The best Siri
called Buddy or something. Fuck, I can't remember.
Buddy, that'd be a way better name for it.
What the fuck are they called? I think it's
Hey, buddy.
Or mate or something. I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't fucking matter. I don't care.
Hey, pal.
Pal. That's it. Pal.
Is it?
Pal. That's it.
How did I know that?
It's Pal.
That's a good one, though.
So he makes this, and then he's like, oh, I'm going to make robots that are like personal assistants, but like can do whatever you want them to do. And then they turn evil. And then there's like all these things like, oh yeah, maybe providing information to this major tech company wasn't such a good idea after all, and stuff like that. And I'm just there like, shut up, Sony. Shut up, Netflix. You used to do this exact same fucking thing. Yeah. It's almost like the Japanese company are like, oh, stupid American companies like stealing all your information. Yeah. It's like, you are doing the exact same fucking thing.
Well, it's about time someone had a fucking throw at the Americans, you know?
Yeah, so eventually.
Eventually, yeah.
But it's a strange one. The film itself is like pretty funny. The dog in it is amazing. The dog in it is really, really good. The young boy is voiced by the director. So the young boy who's like 7, 8, 9 has the voice of like a fucking mid-30-year-old, and it's awful. I hate it. I hate it so much.
It's fucked up.
Oh, it's bad. It's not funny. It's just weird.
Yeah.
And then the other side of it, like kind of the A plot, I guess, is the story of the daughter in the film and her relationship to her dad. And they have like a really toxic relationship. And the dad is basically saying like, this girl is a freak because she's really into movies and into making films. And like, he's like really neglectful and like abusive, and like really puts her down for like pursuing her dreams. And she's good enough to get into college, like based on what she does and stuff like that. Like, she's going places with this, and he's like, nah, it's fucking weird. You should be in the outdoors, because that's what he's really into.
Yeah.
And then the film like puts him as basically a villain. Like, he's a fucking asshole. And the film's message is like, maybe it's somewhere in the middle. Maybe the girl should like, you know, kind of like live up a bit, like get in touch with her dad and why her dad is like that. The reason why her dad is like this is because he was really into like living in a cabin in the outdoors, whatever.
Her dad was a Unabomber.
And then he had a kid, and then he's just like, I have to give all that stuff up. So, like, what if you fail as well, like I did? But it's like, you didn't fail. You lived your life, and you have to move on from your dream from when you were a young man, because you had a fucking kid, and it's time for you to grow up. And that's what the reality of this dude's situation is. And instead, he fucking takes it out on his kid and abuses her. And the film is just like, maybe you should, as the kid being abused by your dad because you actually haven't done anything. You're just living your life. You're just doing what you want to do. Maybe you should understand why your dad is such a dickhead, and maybe you can meet somewhere in the middle, even though it's completely your dad's fault.
Oh, they can't say that. It's a family film.
That's the thing. It's a family film, so they're not going to go there. But, like, it's like, fuck off. No.
Yeah. That sounds a bit weird. Yeah, I don't know the details, but... Fuck that. That's
the message of the film. Like, that's actually the climax of the film is the girl understanding like why her dad is the way he is, and then it ends with this montage of the family killing all the robots and stuff like that, and the mom's gone berserk.
Yeah, what does that have to do with the robots?
Nothing. There's like two distinct different things that are going on.
Fuck that.
This is like a family of fuck ups, and they're like the only people that are left, and they take on the robots. You know,
the Mitchells is such a bad name.
Yeah.
For like,
well, they're a terrible family. Like, that's the entire joke in the film.
Yeah, it's like you know, for a film, it's like that's a grand like normal name. Why'd you put it in the title?
The Mitchells versus the Machines.
It's strange. But like, what would you give it out of 10?
3. Oh, sorry, 3, 6.
3 out of 5.
6 or 7.
Okay.
But like, it's a 3-star film.
All right. Netflix.
Yeah, it's way too long.
How long is it?
Nearly 2 hours.
Fuck that.
It's way too long.
The kids don't have attention spans that long.
There's a great Furby joke in it though.
Furbies.
Yeah, you remember those things?
Remember them. I
They're
still
in
have
this.
mine.
They're in
I
this.
still have mine.
And they get controlled by like by the AI
Yeah.
thing that's going on because it's an AI chip that's in everything, so they control all the technology. And there's a bit where because I watch all films basically with subtitles now. So
Same.
I don't know if there are subtitles in the film if you don't watch it with subtitles, like for what because the Furbies talk, but they talk in like Furby language, like you don't understand what they're saying. So I don't know if it's translated, like if there are subtitles for those bits. But regardless, like the Furbies are like attacking them, whatever, and they're just like the dark harvest will begin and stuff like that, and it's really fun. It's like just super like Lovecraftian in what they're saying.
Lovecraftian Furbies.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
It's funny, and there's a big massive Furby that like comes out, and he's like a fucking demon. He's like like Cthulhu. It's funny though. Those bits are really, really funny.
Yeah.
The film is funny, but it's also it's like
sounds kind of boring.
It's like half-arsed fucking attempts, like the critique of capitalism, but yet brought to you by Sony and Netflix. This like story of abuse, but like fucking bottles that as well by saying like you have to go halfway.
That's the thing, yeah. If you're gonna do something like that, commit to the bit. Don't be like, oh, maybe you just you bridge the gap or whatever. Compromise.
Yeah, compromise.
Never compromise.
Get what you want. The land, pen is fin. The land is yours. You inherit it. Keep the flame alive. Take from it what you will.
The flame is in the fen. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that sounds. Yeah. Whatever happened to Furbies?
Man, they actually might make a comeback if this film like gets big enough. Furbies are back.
Furbies are.
Invest in Furby stock.
Yeah,
Furby coin.
Furby coin. That should be a thing. That should be a thing.
Fucking fly.
Yeah, Furby coin. Tamagotchis and Furbies. That was back in the day.
Oh, throwback.
Gen Z, the TikTok generation won't know a thing about them.
They don't get it, bro.
They don't get our struggle.
You know that we are Gen Z.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
But like, at the same time, we're like, we can't.
Gen Z's cutoff point, like to millennials, is 1996.
Is it?
Yeah.
96. Well, all the TikTok people. I can't get TikTok, so I feel like,
you're just on the wrong side of TikTok, bro. You just gotta get the TikTok that you like.
That's true.
Like skateboarding TikTok.
Maybe.
We're on that now. Skateboarding videos. What a vibe.
Skate videos. Yeah, we should do a series on
90s.
that. Memory Screen. There's another one as well. Video Days or something like that. They actually are. Memory Screen is good. You should watch that.
Yeah, I will.
You should definitely watch it. Intro especially. It's so good. First 10 minutes. Amazing.
This whole skateboarding mid 90s vibe, like the fucking film itself, like all that vibe, amazing. It's so good.
It is, yeah.
It's such a great aesthetic.
Yeah, DIY culture, DIY ethos, making their own shit. That's the way you do it.
Ethos.
Punk, yeah, that's what it is. It's just punk. Punk died though.
Punk is dead. It got gentrified to bits.
Yeah, exactly.
And now we got to eat the people that did it.
We got to blow it up.
We go for a quick break before listener questions.
Go for a quick break for the old listeners. Yeah, if you want to ask us a question, get on to us at @power_pod on Insta or on Twitter, or you can get to us by email at thepowerpod@gmail.com. That's the one. That's the way you do it. That's the way we whip it up.
We have two nice little cozy little questions. First one coming in from Connor. Connor is asking, if you could live in a book, TV show, or a movie, what would it be? So, what are you thinking? What fictional world do you want to be a part of?
What's the comfiest fictional world? I kind of like the aesthetic of Blade Runner, but at the same time, it's obviously a dystopia.
Yeah, it's horrifying at the same time.
I don't know, it's hard to think. Harry Potter was always something that I wanted to go to Hogwarts.
Lord of the Rings
like
as
a lot of people. Lord of the Rings, yeah, that's pretty cool. Isn't that just like feudalism though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, get to be a wizard.
Comfier, yeah. A bit comfier.
It's like Skyrim.
Skyrim, yeah, true. But
Skyrim is weird. I've been replaying bits of Skyrim at the moment.
Really?
Yeah, and I decided to do something I've never done before in Skyrim. This is just talking about fantasy as a whole, because fantasy is a little bit kind of a racism allegories going on in it. The Nords in Skyrim are these like white, like blonde hair dudes that float around or whatever, and that's all the Nords live in Skyrim. And I play as a dark elf, and I didn't realize it was a dark elf because it's been fucking ages since I played it. And I was walking down this road, And this Nord came up and he just started attacking me, and he's just like, "Get the fuck out of here, you creature," and stuff like that. And he started hacking at me, and I searched his body, and he had a book that was Nord's Rise Up, and another book that was like Argonian Encounters, and Argonians are like the lizard people that live in Skyrim or whatever. And it's like this racist book about these Argonians that are like these little tricksters or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait a second, what type of fucking race do I play as? And I unmasked myself, and I was a fucking dark elf. I was like, oh my god, like it's just a fucking Nazi that just attacked me because I was basically like I was an elf.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
So maybe Lord of the Rings is not somewhere I want to live.
Oh yeah, that's like an apartheid state, you know, the orcs and all, and like the whole, aren't orcs like descendant from elves?
Something, I don't know.
Something like that, but they can't interbreed.
Yeah.
You know, apparently I read something that Sauron was like the progressive force in it was like this hot take,
Possibly,
where he was like trying to sort of break the back of the
Establishment.
elven establishment or something like that. I don't know, but basically the orcs were the good guys. The orcs were the proletariat, which I think is a pretty common reading.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely is.
so fascist dictatorship, but a comfy one.
Yeah, cozy. You know, get to live in a hut
Yeah,
out in the middle of nowhere, just farming.
those little hobbiton huts, I love them.
You know,
Those are so cool.
that'd be cozy.
Live in New Zealand, basically.
Smoke a bit of weed.
Oh yeah, a bit of the old. Oh, do they have that in there?
Yeah, because apparently that's something in Lord of the Rings. In Lord of the Rings,
They have weed.
they have, well, in the movies they have weed. You know, because so in Lord of the Rings they have like their tobacco or whatever that they smoke. In the books, it's way more, like the culture around it is as if it's tobacco, but in the films, Peter Jackson like made the culture around the way that they smoke it like weed. It's just weed culture,
Oh right.
which is funny.
Yeah. Load of stoner hobbits running around. Go on, Bilbo, lad.
I don't know where else. What else is a nice? Maybe something like what's a good world? Like a nice, cozy, comforting world. Because most of them are horrible. Most of them are just like fucked up worlds that you don't want to be a part of.
Yeah. The cozy world.
Like none of them today. I wouldn't want to be a part of any of these worlds that we talked about today.
No, fuck that, yeah. Fuck that. Witchfinder General. That's the world we live in, bro.
Office Space. We're living in it, bro.
We're living in that world, man.
Mitchell versus Machines. We're living in it, bro.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Because, like, most fictional settings are obviously bad because you need kind of conflict, don't you? Like, you don't have... like, Utopia, maybe? You know that book?
Yeah. I lived it. Yeah.
Something like that. Or, what was it? Herland.
The fuck is that?
Remember Herland? We did it in college.
Oh yeah, vaguely.
Or what was that? Left Hand of Darkness.
That was a sci-fi thing though.
Yeah, so
It's like a dystopia at the same time.
yeah, maybe.
What the fuck was Herland about?
It was about a planet run, or like it was like an adventure novel where they go to a land run basically by Amazonians.
Oh yeah, I do remember
It's like
that.
It's like that Futurama episode.
Yeah, what the fuck? That was a weird book.
Yeah.
Herland. I completely
Herland.
forgot
Remember,
about that.
I think it was like second year, maybe
Yeah.
first year.
I think it was second year.
Yeah.
Completely forgot about that book.
Herland. Maybe.
Most fictional worlds are fucking horrible.
That's true.
Children of Men. That's what I want to live in.
Children of Man, yeah. Yeah. Something like that.
Yes.
Land of the Lost. I want to go to the Land of the Lost.
Be king.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Cloudy with a chance of meatballs.
I'm not a big fan of meatballs.
All the foods.
Yeah. Oh, true. Yeah, I actually haven't seen that film,
But it's also like end of the world shit, so maybe not. You know, not a vibe.
yeah, not many vibes here.
Not a vibe.
But yeah. Neil is also asking, what films are you going to see in cinemas?
Texas Chainsaw.
In cinemas?
Whenever it comes out, yeah, I'll go see that.
Oh,
film
the
in
new
cinema.
one?
Yeah.
I pretty won't see that in cinemas, man.
No,
That'd be a waste of money.
yeah, I don't think I will do that. That's a bad idea. See, what's coming out? The new
looking up now.
Suicide Squad. What about Dune?
I want to see Dune in cinemas.
That's a cinema movie.
Yeah, that's definitely an event film.
The next Avengers.
The Matrix 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
A Quiet Place Part 2. I'm just listing films that are coming out.
Yeah, fuck all films coming out. Maybe Quiet Place, but I didn't really like the first one. The first one's alright.
I would never see that film again. Yeah, that film's shy. Halloween Kills.
Oh yeah,
That will be out, pretty soon, basically in October this year.
I'd watch that. Do you want to go see that in cinema? Let's do
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. We'll be there. We'll be there.
That might be the first one. That one comes out in October.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't know, because a lot of the films that, like, obviously they're holding back a lot of stuff from 2020, but I don't think they would have planned for them to come out this summer, just in case. So there's gonna be a lot of fucking direct out this summer, like just films that they're just like, oh, this will work, like, and it doesn't really matter if it fails that bad.
Yeah.
So I think towards the end of the year, things will sort of pick up again.
Yeah. Oh well. Maybe nothing, Neil.
maybe I'll never go back.
I'm pretty cozy with the VPN.
ExpressVPN.
You know yourself. And then our question to the listener was about films that have aged poorly, be it from the context that is in the film, the themes, or pop culture references or whatever that's in the film, inspired by the Guardian hot take about Shrek.
Yeah, that was criminal. That was criminal. That
Blasphemy.
was great clickbait, though. It went viral within hours of it coming out.
It works.
It works. But yeah, Connor is saying that Blade Runner is a weird vibe being set in 2019, which is, to an extent, very true.
It's the same with Back to the Future Part 2, I'm pretty sure. That takes place in
2015, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gas. 2015 was such an uneventful year. Nothing happened that year.
Yeah.
Back to the Future did, though. Back to the Future 2. But yeah, 2019 for Blade Runner, it's like... 2019 was a strange year, though.
It was.
I feel like it was.
I mean, we're building up to 2020.
Yeah, 2020. Yeah, wasn't there something that was set in 2020? I can't remember, but...
Probably.
Yeah. But yeah, 20... I don't know if it affects it that much, because it's just like sort of ambiguously set in the future, mainly, more than anything else, rather than 2019
I kind of forget
specifically.
I forget that it pops up with 2019. That's like...
Yeah.
Something I don't really remember.
It's more like saying, like you watch a sci-fi film today and it goes, this is set in 2053. We're like, whoa, 2053. But people
Blade Runner 2049, I can't wait.
Yeah, but people in 2053 are probably like, they're just going to the office and stuff like that. Things are probably going to be the exact same, pretty much. We'll just be 55 or 57 years old or whatever. Or what? Yeah, 51. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever
some
age we'll be.
Some age. We'll be in our 50s.
We'll just be old. We'll be in our 50s. That's the only difference that'll probably be there.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think, like, the time that a sci-fi film takes place in, I forget that happens in sci-fi films all the time, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
It's such a lesser plot point.
Yeah, true. It's like Star Wars. Star Wars is set in the past. But you don't go, that aged poorly.
Special effects are shit.
Yeah. But yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah. And then Sarah is saying, I took this down wrong. You have to give films some benefit of the doubt. It's unfair to look back on a film with 2021 sensibilities and perspective.
You can't say that.
Cancelled.
Can't say that.
Cancelled.
You cannot say that, Sarah.
I disagree with that. Cause
it's unfair to look back on films with 2021 sensibilities, is it?
I think that's completely fair. Because that's who you are as a person. That's how you're engaging with the film. Is with all the builds up of your entire life, Yeah.
But at the same time, you should always try to escape that kind of thing, shouldn't you? Go for more objective kind of thing.
Nah, because films aren't objective inherently. They're subjective things. Art is not objective. Art can never be objective. So why even try and be objective?
Art can be objective. know?
No.
Yeah.
You think Idiocracy and stuff like that, they didn't mean to have a message were objective,
Objective about what?
About what they're saying and what they think or whatever.
I mean, like, objective values, Like a film... Some films are objectively bad.
Oh, yeah, like something like fucking...
Birdemic. There's no value in that.
I'm more talking about like theme wise, like something like fucking Birth of a Nation. Like you can't really take the context of like the year that came out of that film. Like that's abhorrently obscene and awful. But at the time it wasn't. At the time it was seen as something that was completely fine. But what I'm saying is like you can't ignore those aspects of the film. Same way like with the Sleepaway Camp. Like the ending's extremely transphobic and you can't ignore that. Even though at the time it might have been fine. But it's not fine.
Yeah, but at the time, Birth of a Nation was still racist. At the time. Sleepaway Camp was still transphobic. You know,
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's just like, I don't know, because like there's like universal kind of things that are going on there.
Mm.
I think in terms of value, obviously, something like Birth of Nations is obviously influential in terms of its formalistic kind of stuff that's going on. I've never watched it, but like apparently, like a lot of people list it as a big influence, and apparently it's a very influential film. But the it's just like the actual content itself is
Abhorrent,
clearly problematic as it goes on. But like that, I think that's something that you can apply. Like people knew better back then, you know. It was just that it wasn't as, you know, maybe it was more acceptable to not know better, you know. But yeah, is it unfair to look back on films with 2021 sensibilities? Absolutely not, because we're always reaching towards something better, and we should always hold higher standards to everything that came before. You know, everything, even that
bring
film,
out the mallet.
even that film, Man on the Moon, or what's it called? The Man in the Moon. You know that film where the thing lands in his eye?
What?
You know that silent film, the first, like, one of the first films?
Oh, yeah.
Where the spaceship lands in his eye?
Yes. I can't remember. Yeah, I know. Journey to the Moon or whatever the fuck it's
Something
called.
like that, yeah. Yeah, that film's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's a bad film.
It's fucking boring. It's 20 minutes long and it's fucking boring.
It's boring, you know. But at the same time, you just have to, it's all these different factors. You have to account for the fact that we've shorter attention spans and stuff like that now. But at the same time, it's not good. It's not good, you know. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be fair. I think it'd be unfair to everyone in the past to be go easy on them, kid gloves and all. If you know, it's just
tough love.
Oh yeah, it was 1930. They were all fucking idiots back then, you know. No, they weren't. Like they knew they were smart people. Nothing much has changed since then, especially in terms of like technologically. But technologically speaking, you know, that's a different matter. As we've established already, that's a different matter altogether. It's more about like values, content. Those are things that I think transcend time. You know, they're always there. They're always going to matter. They're always something you can talk about.
Quality doesn't age.
No.
Like in terms of like production values and stuff like that.
No, not really, no. In terms of what you're trying to say, like fucking Don Quixote and all that stuff. 1500s or 1600s, people still relate to that. I've never read it, but people still like it, you know.
Ulysses, yeah.
You know, people are gonna love that for a long time. You know?
Yeah. No,
thousands of years, probably.
I agree, yeah. Shrek 2 will be remembered forever.
Fact. You know,
that's the one thing. That's the one flaw I would say about Shrek 1 is that like it's good and all, but like, you know, it's really just a stepping stone to get to Shrek 2.
Yeah, it's a stepping stone. It is, you know, but at the same time, it's always going to be there. It's always going to be part of the Shrek universe, and it's going to be remembered forever. And you're not
the second best thing in the Shrek universe.
Yeah, and you don't think, oh no, yeah, it was made in 2001. Oh, everyone was fucking, you know, people back then
Bush
they didn't
era.
get it. You know, they're all cavemen. Yeah, it's Bush era, 9/11, stuff like that. Even though that's all very relevant, but in terms of judging a film, it's all part of the fucking tango, you know.
Yeah, all part of the tango. Yeah, because like, then you look back at things like Penda's Fen, which is aged like fucking fine wine.
Fine wine.
And
Absolutely.
it's probably better now than it ever was.
Yeah, that's the thing, because it can take on more meaning as time goes on. Penda's Fen, like recently, I've more been thinking about the fact that it was dormant for so long. And like no one talked about it for nearly 40 years, and now people talk about it again. It has like symposiums going on just surrounding the film and like its themes and what it's trying to say and like what it means in the context of when it came out, you know, like maybe
and what it says now,
like how it applies to now, you know, because these things, if you're making something that can only work properly, you know, instantaneously when it first comes out, you're doing a bad job. It needs to have some lasting power. You know, some staying power. You can't have everything aging like milk, like our last episode.
Yeah. A lot of poorly aged shit in that episode.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I agree. I agree with you. What are some films that you think have aged poorly? Besides the one that we talked about last episode.
Aged poorly. In terms of like content or like style or what?
Just anything.
Halloween aged poorly. Just in terms of you know, sort of conservative themes around it. You know, stuff like that. I don't know. Like a lot of them sort of fall off naturally. Like if a film isn't good, people just tend to sort of leave it be. Like Gone with the Wind. You know, biggest film ever. Biggest film of all time.
People still talk about that film though.
Even to this day. But yeah, but no one goes...
Hollywood heads.
Yeah, but no one goes... the only people who talk about that film are people who are like, oh, did you know that Gone with the Wind is the biggest film ever? You know? Like no one has ever spoken about that film in any other context for about 80 years, you know?
Yeah. No one cares about the film
No
anymore.
one cares, you know? And it's like, obviously, there's a lot of it's not really important in terms of technical aspects or like formally, you know, and it has like problems I think with the content.
I'm pretty sure it's super racist.
Yeah, it's very racist and stuff like that, but it's just like forgettable film. But like you don't have to be like, you don't have to cancel that film. It just sort of fell off as it was, you know. Like that's just, you know, time doing its thing.
Time be doing its thing.
Time be doing its thing, and you don't really have to, you know, you don't have to intervene most of the time.
Yeah, chill out.
And then, take it easy.
What about films that have like really heavy pop culture references to the time? Because
Yeah,
I feel like the Muppets,
untenable.
the Muppets movie, like the original one, has aged pretty poorly because so many of the references was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I suppose. But you have like Back to the Future 2 has like that Jaws reference, Jaws 15.
But that's only aged better
to an extent, but
because we live in the Avengers world.
Yeah, true. I suppose. Yeah, you can think about it that way. Yeah, pop culture references is just a bad idea, though, you know, because like you don't know what's gonna last, you know. So don't go for it.
That's why, like, when films have like memes in them,
yeah,
like that's just a terrible idea.
Yeah,
and if your film has a meme in it, you're fucked.
Yeah, like emojis or something like that.
Like the Emoji Movie was fucking poorly aged.
I was going to say that, but I was like, the Emoji Movie didn't happen. That was a bad dream or something like that. That actually was a film, wasn't it? Yeah. Like that's going to age like milk. Yeah.
And the same thing with Slenderman. Like that was poorly aged before it fucking came out. Like,
yeah, that's the thing.
It's too late to the baton.
Yeah. There's definitely a barrier though these days. Like how do you, like back in the day, you release like a classic, like say like what you call it, Nosferatu. That was only less than 20 years after Dracula was released. Like, was that such a massive kind of cultural moment that they knew to make the film then? But like nowadays, you're like, you have a massive cultural moment, but it's like cringe to make a film about it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what's that about? Some kind of postmodern delay, you know?
It's not instantaneous enough.
I don't know.
It's moving too quickly.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening, but it don't work like it used to.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah, time moves differently now than it used to.
Yeah, it's like treacle.
Yeah, it's interesting. We leave it at that.
We will, so.
Leave it there. So
yeah, we're back next week talking about Tropic Thunder.
Sweet. I'm looking forward to this.
Says the name.
Can't
Watch
wait.
It. It's on Netflix.
Hopefully this thing hasn't aged poorly. I don't think it has.
No, there's nothing in it that could age poorly.
Perfect film. Nothing.
Yeah, this is a perfect, fucking bulletproof film.
Yeah.
Inoffensive. All right. Good
See
night.
you all.
God bless.
Bye bye.